Afternoon, Mikel.
Hi.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the cakes. How
You're
did you
welcome.
spend it? And if you can tell us what maybe your birthday wish was?
Well, I spent it with my family. I went back home to my hometown, San Sebastian, and I had all the family there with me, so it was a really weird way of celebrating it.
A little wish maybe that there's a
It's a
Premier
secret.
League
It's
title
a
in the
secret. You
next
can
few
imagine it, but it's a secret.
weeks? I guess if you tell us, then it maybe doesn't come true. So
Who knows?
let's come to matters ahead of tomorrow. And we spoke to you before the international break, and you talked about William Saliba knowing more in the next little while. How is he progressing?
He is progressing. Unfortunately, he has still some discomfort in his back, and we are trying to manage it in the best possible way. Unfortunately, he's not going to be fit for this game, and we are trying. He's trying to do everything he can to feel better and get him back training, but not yet.
There's a few scare stories around that it might be end of season. That's I know you don't like to put a time on it, but you're hopeful of seeing him before then.
Yeah, I am very hopeful, and he is as well. Back injuries are a bit tricky, how they evolve with the load that you put as well in certain areas, but he's very positive about it. Medical staff are positive about it. Let's push it every day a little bit and see how he can cope with that and how the pain develops as well. And he's obviously so willing to be back with the team.
We saw Thomas Partey training yesterday, having missed that game and having had your physio alongside him. Is he okay? And the fact that you had kind of a physio with him, I guess, gives us a sense of just how important he is to you and what you want to do over the next few weeks.
Yes, but it's something that we did in the past as well, and we have a really good relationship with the Ghanaian Federation, and we have to manage and look after our players, and they've been really positive about it as well. We try to help as much as possible, and I think it works both ways, and obviously he wasn't fit enough to play the second game, but hopefully he's going to be back for the weekend.
And everyone else good after internationals? I mean, was he hot in the mouth? Rodri going for that tackle on Odegaard?
These things happen in football when they play against each other, but the rest of them are all good.
Okay, and another Manager of the Month award for you, your fourth of the season, I think it is. Lots of highlights in March, but one of the things you're most proud of is how you overcame that sort of blip a few weeks before.
For sure, and we needed results, we needed performances, and we got the results in various ways. Some games we had to really react and push ourselves to the limit to get the results. In other ones, we were really dominant. Okay, we were really dominant, and we won the game with a bigger gap. So we have to continue to do that every single day to try to play better, and against Leeds it's going to be the same case.
And the moment of March for you, which moment was it?
The moment of March?
Yeah. Bournemouth, maybe?
Yeah, probably the goal of reason, that moment and that celebration, that hype that we all had in that moment. But I'm especially pleased with the consistency that the boys are showing every single day, to the way they train, the way they behave, the way they are playing, to have that willingness and that hunger to keep winning and winning and winning.
Earlier this week you did a piece that I looked back on this morning, and a lot of the themes through it was the unity, togetherness, enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah.
When you look at this group now and you think back to some of your most unified dressing rooms that you were in, which ones were there and how far as a group did it manage to take you?
Sorry, can you?
The most unified dressing rooms that you've been part of, and how far that kind of group that really loved each other and bought into what you were doing, how far did it take you?
I don't know, I wouldn't like to compare it, honestly. I think I'm extremely proud and happy to have and develop the group of players and staff that we have together, and it's an absolute joy to work with them every single day. And just push every boundary, every limit, enjoy the challenge that we have ahead of us. It's the most beautiful part of the season, and we need to enjoy every second, every single day of it. And this is what we talk about every single day.
I didn't want you to compare, but I just wondered which of your dressing rooms you've kind of taken inspiration from, those really tight units that you sort of sit here now when you look at what's ahead of you and think, that was amazing, that was the most unified place that I've been?
I don't know. Probably it's the one that I was when I was 15 years old and I was in Barcelona and we had 13, 14, 15-year-old boys, and then some of them they've been incredible, successful football players. But we have to look after each other in a way, and it was not only in the dressing room because we lived together as well, and we all had our own issues, but as well our own hobbies and our way of being, and that was phenomenal. That was probably the biggest learning curve that I had in my career in football. To after try to take certain bits and experiences to take on board in your professional career.
Charlie.
Mikel, you mentioned the win over Bournemouth. Leeds, of course, are another team fighting against relegation. What are the challenges when you face a team fighting against relegation, but particularly at this time of the season?
Well, in particular, Leeds, I think they have very clear DNA, you know, how they are, how they behave, the character, that passion and energy that they play with, you know, and they've been doing it for a long, long time. And now with a new manager as well, with some new ideas, some players that they've been injured as well, which they have some issues with, they are back right now. So a very dangerous team that we discussed that openly and very clearly what we're going to expect tomorrow, and we're going to have to be really good to beat them.
You mentioned Javi Gracia. I mean, what have you made of the work that he's done at the club?
Really good, and I know him as a player because he used to play in my hometown really, really well, and now as a coach, and he's a really good coach, really dedicated, really thoughtful, very clear in the ideas that his team wants to play. He can vary as well, like he's done in many clubs, his way of playing and formations, very adaptable. He's coached so many teams already, you know, at his age, and that tells you the quality that he has, and I think so far he's doing really well.
One on Gabriel Jesus, of course, he's had the international break to get fully fit, but are you now seeing him at 100%?
He's very close to that. In the last 10 days, he's really made a big step forward. You can see that he's looser, he's not thinking about it. You can see that he's already creating in training that chaos that he's capable of creating and this unique moment. So he's in a really good place now.
And one final one away from the game tomorrow. You were at the Emirates Stadium to watch Arsenal women beat Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
How proud are you of their achievement, but also what Arsenal are doing as a club, both the men's and women's teams?
It was beautiful. It was great to just have the experience to live it there, and the crowd that we had in the game, and especially the way they played, you know, especially in the first half. It was a real joy to watch. So it's a big achievement, you know. It hasn't happened for many, many years at the club, so we have to catch them up, and this is the beauty of it, you know, that getting things inside the club that are inspiring for each other, and they can make us closer and better with intentions and the objectives that we have at the end of the season. Thank you.
Hi, Mikel. Hope you're well. You were mentioning about consistency in one of your answers. Bukayo Saka has been so consistent for you this season. Played so well for England against Ukraine recently. I mean, what do you put his consistent performances this season down to?
First of all, his mentality. I think there's been a shift there. How much he wants it, what he does every single day, and then obviously the maturity, the acknowledgement of what to do in every situation, that his decision making is getting better and better and better. He's deciding football matches more often, and as well because he has really good teammates both at Arsenal and at the national team, and that's a very necessary thing to have, especially when you play in attacking positions.
Arsene Wenger has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame this week. How deserved is that for you?
No question. He had to be there, and I'm so proud of him, so proud to have been part of his career as a player, what he's done for the club, what he's done for football in general. Is someone exceptional that deserves a huge place in the football world.
Do you still speak to him much, or will you look to speak to him over the coming weeks as we go into the run-in?
Yeah, we are in touch. You know that he's been trying to stay away, and this is the way he is, and we are trying to bring him back closer and closer, and I think we have made some very important steps there, and his influence is going to be there, and sometimes he's present is enough.
And lastly for me, just picking up on the women's team success as well, how important is that for both the men's and the women's team are both fighting for trophies this season in terms of what you're trying to do in here at Arsenal?
Well, that tells you what this club is about. It's about winning and bringing the major trophies to the club. and that's the ambition that every single person that works in this organization has to have. So it's very inspiring, and especially the way they're doing it.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mick, how has this international break been? Has it been an opportunity to pause and reflect and get ready, or is it something you could have done without because Arsenal were going really fast when it came?
We had time to work. The days that we had to work, we have time to analyze and think and get away and reflect on what we are doing and how we're going to approach the final push of the season. And then as well some time to fill your heart with your loved ones and spend some time with them and get a different type of energy that is very needed. So far it was really good.
Excellent. When you prepare for Leeds and a team that are battling, and I know Arsenal generally focus on themselves, they don't worry about who they're playing. How much does that kind of intrude in your preparations, the fact that Leeds are in a desperate situation and will be fighting on every front?
Yeah, they won the points as much as we won them. Hopefully we won them more than them, and we can show that on Saturday. But obviously it's a team that has its needs and that they are playing, I think, at a really good level, and they got a really good result, the last one. And we're going to have to end, like we always done, our right to win the game.
On the subject of changes, at this point in the season, with no Saliba, Rob Holding coming in, how much do you have to kind of manage that alteration in the way your team's working? Do you just say to them, you're all professionals, you've got to get on with it, or do you have to sort of really kind of prepare for the fact that this team that hasn't changed much is now going to change a bit?
We try to adapt the qualities with the players to get the best out of the team, as simple as that. And sometimes the character, sometimes the quality of the player. So in every phase we try to get them in the most comfortable positions that they can deliver the best for the team. Rob has huge experience already at the club in the Premier League, and I think he proved that in the right way in the last game against Palace.
Thank you.
Hi.
If Manchester City, because they're playing before you, if they drop points against Liverpool, that potentially gives you the opportunity to open up a 10 or 11 point gap at the top of the Premier League table. Will your players be watching the game before, or would you rather they're just focused on what they're doing going into the game?
Our focus is in what we can control ourselves every single day. But obviously, we love to watch football games, and for sure there's gonna be a part there if we can, that we will be watching it like any other manager or team, because we love to watch games, and this is a great game to watch.
So you're not going to try and keep your players from keeping an eye on the City game, just...
Well, there is still a little bit of gap between the game, but when we get to the game, the focus is in the game and nothing else, and everybody is just switched on what we're going to do.
Charles? Just going back to Saliba quickly, was that an injury he'd kind of been managing, building up to the game, or was it just one that happened fresh against Sporting?
No, it's something that happened. We don't know if it happened the previous game because he had a very awkward landing against Fulham, but before that he was fine.
When you say you're kind of still assessing and trying to work it out, is it because, why is that? How come you don't know right now the exact extent of the injury? Is it just a really difficult one to...
Maybe more for the doctors that answer, but it's more specific about the area and the load that Willie puts in that area, how he can cope with that, and what kind of pain he can handle, and where are the risks as well if we make it worse, and that's what we have to be aware of.
Fowler and Balogun had an interesting international break. He headed over to the States. They kind of laid the red carpet out for him over there. Gareth Southgate was talking about him, kind of urged him to be patient in terms of possible England chance. What would your advice be to Fowler at the moment, given the decision that he's weighing up over his international future?
To focus on today and continue to do what he's been doing, because he's been phenomenal. So keep doing what you are doing and don't think about anything else, and the rest of the things would come naturally.
Do you worry that could sort of sway his mind if you're thinking too much, that would affect the work he's doing this season?
I wouldn't personally. I would try to do what he's been doing, because he's been working really well for him and for the team. So continue to do the same thing.
James?
Hi Mikel. It's 22 years to the day David Rocastle's passing. How much do you know about Rocky, and do you know if the club are honouring him tomorrow?
Well, I was pretty young, obviously at a certain stage, especially when he was at the club. But it's you see painting, you see picture, you have a lot of people that has come across with him. Huge character, very charismatic person, someone that he was very much loved at the club. So great that players, clubs are remembering that day and feel like it's something special.
Last one.
Right, Mikel, on Saliba, you mentioned it's something you might have to manage. Do you see that potentially being a thing over the rest of the season, though? He might come back, but it might be an injury you have to keep an eye on for the rest of the season now?
I want to be positive and think that he's going to be able to do that. But I don't know, I don't have the answer today to answer 100% whether that's going to be the case.
You mentioned Bukayo earlier on in one of your answers. With the way he's playing for you, with the way he's playing for England at the moment, are there any players in his position in better form at the moment, do you think?
I don't know. We try to assess the players that we have, and he's in an exceptional form. He's full of confidence. He's physically in the right condition, and he's providing to the team exactly what he needs. So he needs to continue to do that.
Is it surprised the consistency he has given his age? Because there are a lot of young players that we see fluctuate at his age, but the consistent level must be surprising even to you.
Yeah, but I think that's getting better and better, and there are a lot of things that he's doing to try to maintain that consistently. His habits every single day, what he does, how he talks to himself, you know, how he allows people to give him advice in the right moment, how he pushes himself, the people he's got around him. They are all very, very important factors for someone to be that consistent every day.
And just finally, you touched on the women's game. I just wondered what you made specifically of the Frida Manham goal, because got quite a few fans out of their seats, didn't it?
Beautiful. It was the moment the ball left her feet, we knew that it was coming in, so it's just a beautiful finish.
Last one, Nick.
Scottish accent, so I hope you're still used to it. But just staying on the Saka for a moment, you know, he's playing so much football just now at the top of his game. Were you comfortable with the amount of minutes he played at England, and did you speak to any of your international managers about managing the minutes, because they obviously know what's on the line here at club level?
Well, the players that are fit have to be ready to play at an international level. They had 2 important games. B is becoming more and more important there, and you have to fulfill your role, and your role gets bigger, and you have to be able to fulfill that role, and that's what he did.
And you've spoken a lot about changing the culture at the Emirates, making it a positive environment. There's so much hope just now with 10 cup finals, if you've classed it, towards the end of the season. Do you have a message for your fans with these games where, if it's a pressure environment, the last half an hour of games, it's still on the line, to trust the process and, you know, stick with the way the team are playing?
Yeah, to live the day, to enjoy the day, to push on the day, and to give us all the energy that they have on the day, and the rest will come in the next game, in the next day. And that's what we are going to do, give a real push every single day to be at our best. So with their help, with their support, we are much better as a team. And that's all we are asking for, nothing different to what they've done the whole season for us.
So you feel that the fans are well educated, that they won't become impatient if games are going to take longer, it's not going to be done in the first half an hour?
Today, what we do today, and our messages to them, what we perceive from them every single day, because it's not only what we eat as well as what we read, what the players read. So all those positive messages, all that feeling of support, of energy or enthusiasm for the day to come and enjoy actually what is coming. That's the most beautiful thing to do, and that gives you energy, and that fills everything, your desire to play in front of them. And once we are now on those 96 minutes to play for, that they really stand out and they're really behind the team to inspire them.